All right, guys, you know what time it is. That's right. It's time for the SpaceBro Show. That's right. The #1 Friday night awesome Star Citizen podcast of epic proportions. And joining us this evening is some of your favorite Star Citizen streamers. That's right. We got the Uber Nerd is with us. Additionally, we're going to have the one, the only, the grenade hugger himself, Mr. Dr. Drones is in the house, leering desperately into the darkness. And of course, Mr. Toy Grubbin's here. You guys ready? I think I am, so let's get into it with the awesome, that is the SpaceBro Show. What's up, guys? What's up, bros? What's up?
Brother.
There we go.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So we were able to get all the guys here tonight. That's good. We're, as always, running tactfully late because, you know, I got to tweet and do this and that and stuff, make sure stuff doesn't shut down and reseat graphics cards and all the other awesomeness is involved with that. So yes. Let's go around the house and talk to everybody and see what everybody's been up to. We'll start with Toy tonight. Mr. Toy Grubbin, what have you been up to this week? What's been going on with you?
Same old, Conan. So every night, Conan.
So much Conan.
I gotta play that dong slider.
There it is. Every day. Every day.
The truth is out.
Right on. Mr. Drones, how about you, sir?
You know, we had a little storm.
Little storm.
So that kind of slowed things down a little bit here, but
gentle shower.
No, we weathered it well.
Good.
I think we lost power here for like an hour and a half, but even with power, we lost internet for like a full day, guys. Can you imagine life without internet for a whole day?
Without internet? I don't know if I could live with that at all. I mean, that's going to be...
Dude, it was brutal.
Yeah. Brutal.
Can't even tell you. Oh, and cellular internet went to shit, like 0.01 megs a second.
Wow.
I was like, yep, screw that, I'm done.
Just take Twitter stills and make a flip book out of them. Just one at a time.
Right? I'm lazy.
Yep. Uber Nerd, how was your week and what have you been up to and what's been going on with you?
Well, the week was all right. And, you know, I'm just streaming as normal. Well, necessarily as normal. I'm always supposed to quit at 1, but, you know, my viewers, they tend to be a little, you know, sneaky buggers and donate right at the end of the stream to get a giveaway going.
Keep you going.
But that's okay. Yeah, that's right. And I'll be streaming tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then, of course, no stream on Sunday because I've got sushi making with my mom and daughter.
Well, there you go.
Sounds yummy.
We'll wait for that stream to come out, the sushi making stream.
Yeah.
There you go. Live cooking with Uber Nerd. Be good. Yep.
Bread baking, sushi making, pizza making.
There it is. Lots of options there. Lots of options. Yep. Well, as with me, everybody knows that we were having some internet difficulties this week. Unfortunately, it kept crapping out off and on me. That's just kind of become a regular thing. Hopefully it won't tonight. And remember, if it does crap out, we'll be back. So don't run off. We will be doing that. But yeah, it's definitely been one of those issues where we've constantly run into some internet stuff. But otherwise, we got a lot of back-end things going. A lot of prep for TwitchCon and CitizenCon. Been talking to a lot of the other companies that we deal with. Everybody from GameWisp to Gawkbox to everybody else, trying to see what elbows we can rub and what deals we can get out there for all the Space Bros and do all that. So we'll see what's kind of be popping up with some of those platforms, some new things coming out in each of those entities, as well as some other people, and then hopefully making some new friends and contacts out there as we kick it and have a good time. We did get the new tablet set up, so the remote stream stuff will be happening for sure. So that's good to go there. We're going to try to refine that and make it better with the assistance of the ultimate IRL streamer, Mr. Dr. Drones there. He's going to see if he can help us out with that. And maybe we'll be able to do some giveaways and stuff while we're out at some of the pubs and all that stuff. That'd be pretty awesome. So, pretty cool. And then stickers come in tomorrow. temp tattoos come in Tuesday. So those of you who are helping contribute to the swag stuff on my channel for that fund, you can expect to be receiving some early stickers. We'll mail them out here in the next week or so because we're going to be starting a new bar probably by sometime next week. And then it's going to be for some more ships. And then beginning next month, I think by the end of this month, next month, we're going to be doing our bro bar down, which we'll have an announcement more about that between me and Mr. Grubbin up there to see who's going to get the ultimate beer fund. Yeah, no, it's going to be team even all day. We're going to even this stuff up. Nice
team odd.
No.
Team odd, guys.
No, team even.
Team odd. Team odd, bro. Team odd.
Nope, won't happen. So
it's going to be my bar bitch.
Mm-hmm. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. All right. And other than that, yeah, guys, make sure you're getting into the SpaceBro gaming giveaway. You can get into that just in chat. You can always check Exploration Arc Monthly. If you haven't got into that, it is for $100 Star Citizen gift card. And since many of you are already a follower or even possibly a subscriber to one or more of these fine gentlemen here, you can get extra entries in there, plus daily entries for tweeting out certain things. So you should definitely check that out and keep that going. Right, because that's worth 100 bones. And then you'll find all the other promotions and giveaways on that same page on the website. So jump in there, make that thing happen, and have fun with that. So other than that, let's break it down. Let's get into some Star Citizen stuff. So this week was a good showing, I think, on ATV.
Finally.
Yeah, I think.
Finally.
We got some of the meat and potatoes that we've been wanting to see. Let's see. First off, let's talk about the burn down, because that's the way they always lay it down. And how hyped were each of you guys to hear that we're down to 26 issues?
So hyped.
Super hyped.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, that is amazing. That they showed this is where we started at. Remember, we were up about 76, 77, somewhere in there.
Yep.
And you know, we were like, you know, it's looked a lot like Bitcoin did way back when, and in you know, June and stuff.
True.
And ever since China closed the facilities and said, hey, we're not going to allow that kind of crap to go down, this is kind of where we're at now with Bitcoin and the issues.
By the way, screw you, China.
Yeah, China. China.
Well, my money.
Get that cryptocurrency out there, China. It's going to be huge. Anyway, so again, you guys, I mean, I didn't expect this much progress, to be honest. I thought maybe they'd knock out maybe 20 a week. Not 50.
I was thinking something similar. But knocking out 50. Now, they did kind of say that they've narrowed a little bit of it down in the, you know, by taking certain things out that they will add in during the Evocati as it goes forward. So that might have contributed to some of that 50. It might not all be 50 bugs completely knocked out. It may be certain bugs are being kept back from the, because this is just the amount of bugs that is now in place for them to release a build to the Evocati. Now, it doesn't mean a 100% fully complete Evocati or 3.0 build. There's sort of certain aspects will be out upon the first release to the Evocati. And I'm thinking mid next week is a good possibility. I'm not saying for sure, but that's my guess, because I think the optics they want is that the Evocati is in there and just testing.
Aaron so much has said so. He just he wants them in. He knows it's still going to be full of bugs, but he wants them in now. Yep. So the bare minimum that, you know, just to get them in and playing.
For those of you who didn't watch ATV at home, I highly encourage you to go to about the 8:45 timestamp, and if you listen to rhetoric directly from Aaron Roberts to the staff in the direction, you can see Mark sitting up here in the front and all this stuff is pretty much get this shit out to Evocati. Let's knock this shit out. Get out to Evocati. We'll tackle these bugs. Then we'll get the next group of 20 bugs. Then we'll get the next group of 20 bugs. So they're planning on sitting with Evocati for a while. So I wouldn't expect I wouldn't be started. I'm not in a position at this point to predict a live release, but they're definitely trying to get in there and do that thing for the Evocati as soon as they possibly can.
I think the Evocati will, this is my guess, Evocati will start next week. It will go for 5 weeks. It'll go to an open PTU before CitizenCon. And at least so that streamers, I hope you're wrong. Like the open PTU that is available to be shown by streamers who are in it, right? Because Evocati can't be shown by anybody. It's kind of that private. But I mean, at least if it's in the hands of the Evocati, people feel, oh, okay, I feel at least decent and good that the Evocati has it. That it's not just being held back, and the only people touching it are CIG.
Yeah,
and I just don't want to hear that we're public PTU while Mitt and I are sitting at TwitchCon. That's gonna suck.
I'll tell you this much right away that
it's the optics.
The big thing for me is the fact that there's two things that I can always rely on CIG to do. Number one, they won't go straight public release. What they'll do is they'll go PTU and subscribers, because they got to milk that subscriber button that they do all the time for that. So it'll be as good as open if you sub.
Yes.
If you sub to them, that's what they'll do. I don't think that's necessarily what they should do, but that's what they will do.
Yeah.
And then they'll open it up a week later. But I really believe now this is part of the thing. I think some of the issues they've mitigated more than they've fixed a little bit, so they can move forward. Just by what we've seen in the last couple of ATVs. So I don't think there's full repair on some of these issues. And I totally believe there's some things that maybe they've deprioritized from a blocker to maybe not so much a blocker, because they might have fixed this part of the issue and that issue still persists at a certain level, but it's no longer a blocker for Evocati. And I think they've downgraded a lot of stuff to get to that number. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as it's not a blocker in the game.
Right. And I think that they were in a panic state.
Yes.
Because of the fact that it was not being, it did not get released, and there was, it's like when the dates went away, everybody kind of got really upset about that with no dates. I mean, we understand, and we looked at the bugs list, the burn down, and we're like, okay, we get it. You need to get rid of all these bugs for it to be released. But I think that they were kind of erring on a high side, and lots of people were like, well, look at and I think they had a meeting after Gamescom, because what they saw was all the bugs that got discovered and revealed and then knocked out. Because of Gamescom, they're like, and then everybody asked, well, if it was such a good thing to have all those fresh faces looking at it at Gamescom, then why not just push it out to Evocati? There was a lot of questioning on that side too, which is why I think they are doing what they're doing now.
The thing people also have to really accept wholeheartedly, whether they want to or not, is the fact that even when these are done, right, in 2.63, we know how many bugs we have there. None of this addresses any of those bugs. A lot of those bugs will persist through to this next build, and you'll have even more. And you just have to be prepared through all the testing, all the other stuff. There will be lots of bugs, period. The blockers are all we're talking about. So, because a lot of people are like, oh, we just need to get out. There could be things where your vehicle explodes if you sit on a certain vehicle and all this stuff. They don't consider all those things blockers necessarily, because some things, that's why they just made the choice at Gamescom of taking the Dragonfly completely out. My question is, did they put the Dragonfly back in? We don't know. There's a lot of... We don't know.
It could be that the Dragonfly comes in during the final week or so of Evocati.
It could, or it could be in already. But all I'm saying is the state of which what we're going to get at when it goes to Evocati, we have no clue what it is. We really don't. We know it will at least contain the moons. We know it should include some of the new suits and vehicles, but they reserve the right. They could extract any portion of it temporarily just to keep moving it forward and then iterate it in. So when people are thinking what some of the guys in chat are saying, oh, 5 weeks is pretty quick. It could take even more. It might. We don't know with Evocati. It depends on what they decide to keep in, what they take out temporarily, those type of things. But either way, the biggest piece of this, to me, is getting the Delta patcher in our hands, because that's going to allow them to crank that shit out to Evocati and get those way faster than what we've done in the past. And that is the key to getting it to a release date, in my mind.
It's going to be huge for them, though. I mean, I'm not saying this thing's going to be out next week, because I think what's going to happen is they're going to get down to a few bugs, but they're going to be hard bugs. You know what I mean? And they might sit 5, 6, 7 bugs for a week or two.
And I think it'll create more when they dump it to us. It'll create more.
Yeah, I was about to say, let's not forget that number can go up too.
Yes.
Not just conveniently, it's on a downward trend right now. We hope it stays that way. But realistically, you can fix a bug and start 10 more.
Well,
that may be blocker level bug.
Yeah.
How huge is this going to be for CIG though? Because they go to their convention. This is the one where they're showing off what they're coming out with. And at the end of it, they go, okay, 3.0 is out for everybody. I really think that's what their goal is.
Yeah, what
the goal is to get 3.0 out by Gamescom, at the end of Gamescom, for everybody. It'll be an Evocati up until then, and then this, as soon as it hits Gamescom, okay, you guys will be able to play 3.0 now.
CitizenCon, BS.
Or CitizenCon, that's what I meant. Sorry,
that's okay. But yeah,
you know what I meant.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to correct it because I wanted to see all the comments in the video going, "It's not Gamescom. When was this video made?" It's like when I went out to YouTube, we'll go back and troll the shit out of it. But but yeah, I agree. But I also think every single patch that's gone to Evocati, every single build that's gone to anytime they go out to the public internet with it, what's going to happen is that creates a bug right there. They have a bug instantly because it's a whole different type of parameter pushing out to all of us on the network. So. And I think that's what Aaron's point is. Aaron's like, hey, we'll just address them when they come. Because no matter how good they make this, if they can get through the initial blockers, no matter how good they make this, almost 100% guaranteed it's going to create some, like, non-launchable issues the minute they give it to us. Like, the last time when they pushed out 2.0, and then they pushed out, I remember the Starfarer build came out in, like, 2.3 or something like that. The Starfarers they put in, and nothing else changed the whole universe, and Starfarers were just exploding and floating off the pads and shit. And they didn't do anything from their internal test to the live test, but just put it out to us. That's it. And then all of a sudden shit was floating around. And
they were restarting those servers every 15 minutes, too.
They had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think that they're afraid of with 3.0 is they don't want it to be another 2.0 launch where every 5 minutes the game would crash. And streamers, remember, this is why they have Evocati too.
It crash counters up on every streamer.
Yeah,
channel.
Exactly. Every single streamer had crash counters, right?
Instead of death counters, you get crash counters. Crash number 1.
Yep.
Crash number 2.
Yeah. So they don't want that again. But I think they realize that they may have gone a little overboard with what they are calling blockers and extreme. I mean, where they could get it out to us.
Yeah.
At a out to the Evocati at a much more kind of lean state, but still feeds with the Delta patcher, and then feed stuff into the Evocati with the Delta patcher at a much faster clip, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So as 100%. We knock things out, every day there could be a patch because it's the Delta patcher. It could be 500 megabytes tomorrow and 300 megabytes the next day and 1.6 gigs the next day. And it's like, that's the kind of thing that will change how that iterative testing goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Aaron realizes, and that makes sense. And I think that they were being they're holding it a little too close to the vest. And that just kind of snowballed on them.
It's true. It could be that way. I mean, or they could be legitimate something big blockers, and they were just able to pull the thread on one, and it fixed a bunch of them, because it's the same way where one issue could create a whole line of issues and blockers, right? You address one thing, and then your fix created 30 more. You could fix one thing, and it could go the other way, and it's like the solution falls in place for everything below that. It all depends.
Well, they showed that in Bug Smashers. I mean, it was a bug for no helmet or no light helmet, right? But there was a light at 0, so that would be 2 separate bugs too. Because somebody go, why is there a light at 0? And then there's one at the player's feet. But he fixed both by just doing one thing. So
absolutely,
I'm sure there's probably plenty of those like that.
Yep. Yeah. Some don't reveal themselves until you dive into it. That's just kind of how that goes. So.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. So again, super hyped about this. This is great news that they're making progress. I'm kind of holding bated breath because next week could go either way. We don't know, and I don't want to prejudge it. But if they're,
I'm totally prejudging it.
I know you are. That's okay. That's okay.
I'm the Pollyanna of the mix here.
I'd like that Aaron Roberts was sitting there just, we got to get this to Evocati now. I just love that.
It was a great soundbite and video clip for sure, because it lets the community know that Chris might have the vision, but Aaron's on top of things. He wants to get this thing move in the right direction, make it happen, and all that. So it's really, really important.
Aaron's the pit boss.
That's right. So then they went into the mission system. We had a good solid 27 minutes of mission system information. And, I was so happy to see this. I was so happy to see them dive deeper. I was afraid they might just here's the graphical boxes the whole time. You know what I mean? But they really went into detail with Tony Z on exactly, what to expect, exactly how deep it goes. And
how much do you think they had to cut?
I'm sure they cut a lot.
Because Tony, sure. Oh my God, that man, the amount of information that he can deliver is just, it's incredible. But the one thing that I picked up on, and was that he said that that this subsumption that is coming into 3.0 totally relies on the object container system.
Yep.
And so that has to be in 3.0.
Yep.
That's another reason why. So this is something that I think a lot of people don't get, is that people are saying, oh, no, it's going to be the same netcode as 2.6.3.
No.
I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
Whoever told you that, or wherever you heard that, wrong. It's not. The object container system will not work with the old netcode at all.
But
0% chance.
It will not be the netcode that they want to enable 64 players or 48 players.
No. It won't be the full. So it will be that netcode, but it will be like Skeleton Crew style of that netcode.
It's got to be refined.
It'll be the first iteration.
Yeah. It's like warming up a pot of coffee. It's got to be, to get the right temperature, they got to iterate on it and kind of get it to where they want it, and that way they don't tear it up. You can't just go crank it on and that's it. It doesn't work that way.
So that's what I was when he said that, I was like, okay, now I know from what Tony Z said, the new netcode is coming in. Now, it is the very basic foundational part of that netcode, but the object container system is a major part of that netcode. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that made me very excited. I got chills listening to him say that. Either that or I have a fever going on or something.
It could be a little bit of both.
Well, I was wondering earlier in the day, and I was talking with everybody about it. I'm like, it's been a month since Sandy posted that picture of him doing the interview. It was over a month till this thing came out. So they'd filmed this thing over a month ago.
Yep.
Right.
So I mean, imagine all the advancements they've made over this past month already on top of where they were when they filmed this.
Right.
So that's awesome.
It's really good.
But the fact that the subsumption really does rely so heavily on the netcode too, and oh my God, that they can create these logical structures, right? So these intensely detailed logical structures that wherever you put the Genesis, it completely uses that logic structure, but completely changes the mission, right?
Yeah, they've created, and this is actually another great example of technology CIG has created as a tool that they could actually sell to other companies. The subsumption, the way they've created it, because this is the blanketed availability of, like what you were saying, Urban Nerd, a piece-by-piece, puzzle, intricate mission creation system. And you can deviate however you want, just like a choose-your-own-adventure, snap in different pieces, all this other stuff, and that's what's going to create variables. Now, two things I do want to point out to everybody. There's a comment in there where they said, oh, it'd be highly unlikely once the game's released and they really get all this fleshed out, that most people will never run the same mission twice. Now, To me, that's a little bit of an inflated statement as a gamer who plays thousands and thousands of hours, because the way they define it, I would define it the same way as what No Man's Sky says you'll never go to the same planet twice. Because some planets on No Man's Sky, you go to one planet and it's got giraffes with bushy tails. The next planet's got giraffes with wings. The next planet's got giraffes with no legs or whatever.
Yep.
The missions may not be the identical mission, but you'll get a lot of the same type of missions, maybe with different names and different things like that. They will deviate it way more than other games do, but I wouldn't expect it to be so different that you would never be able to have the same type of mission or something again. So just
remember what he said. One of those guys was explaining about how a mission would like this might work, right? So you fly in, you go in, you start kicking the butt on pirates who are fighting, who are trying to take this civilian convoy or civilian transport, right? So you defeat the pirates, and then the civilian transport pilot gets on and says, "Oh, yeah, thank you so much, but now my ship is too damaged. Could you take this cargo the rest of the way? And I'll give you this or whatever." So one mission, depending on how you if you come in too late, the cargo transport's destroyed. But you defeat the pirates, so there's that. Or if you come in too early, the cargo transport's not destroyed. You save them, you get a little bit of cash, but you don't get the next mission, which is deliver the cargo because I can't, right?
Yeah.
And so it may be something,
lots of branches you can go off from there,
right? But it is more of if this series of variables is met, this new mission is generated automatically by subsumption. It knows if these three variables are equal to this or within this variance, this new mission is chosen by the NPC. Even more than that is that they remember. The NPCs remember their day. They remember their week. They remember their month.
And they do a lot of checks and balances with each NPC. They'll remember if you chose the mission, or perhaps you did half or a third of that mission, and then you had the option of taking the cargo or declining the mission. You declined, or another person accepted. They'll remember those aspects if you cross that NPC again. Oh, this guy didn't do this, or this guy did do this, and they'll just have checks and balances to where they'll know.
Imagine if you don't know that NPC is, let's say that NPC is in the game related to the sister of Miles Eckert, right? So the sister, he's the adopted sister of Miles Eckert, has a second cousin or something, and that's that NPC that you happened. And so when you're talking to Miles Eckert, he could say, "Hey, this guy tells me you're on the level," or whatever, right? There could be that level of interaction because of the way they have subsumption. It just, to me, that just seems really amazing.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just reading the link that he put up there from what Disco put out a few hours ago. From Disco Lando, I've been hearing from a couple sources that I wanted to take a moment to clarify how this process works. Firstly, there is no special or separate build with specific features for Evocati. What we push out to Evocati will be the most current build of 3.0 from our release branch that we feel is suitable for our immediate testing needs. What this means is that it's very likely that like every Evocati build before it, it will contain many, many bugs impacting the overall Star Citizen experience we hope to achieve when Alpha 3.0 eventually launches. But that most pressing bug standing in the way of the specific features we are proprietizing at that moment have been hopefully eliminated. Okay, so biggest stuff first. Once this is done, we can push a build to Evocati and then direct them concentrate on those specific areas and features with the overall 3.0 branch. As Aaron said in the burndown yesterday, we intend to sweep through the game system by game system, starting first with the traversing between the moons of Crusader. As milestones are hit, waves of bugs associated with additional features are smashed. We will push further builds to Evocati, then to the PTU, and finally with our live environment. Each build is still a test bed for Star Citizen Alpha. So basically they're proprietizing whatever they need to test first, which according to Aaron is make sure he travels Good. We want to make sure people can get to the moons, back and forth, and fix that. Then maybe we'll work on any issues with object container systems within dropping objects into the ships or things like that. And they'll proprietize it like that, or I keep saying prioritize. I keep saying proprietize. I'm like, I guess I want to
proprietary.
I want to make it all proprietary. It's like, it's all mine.
Don't.
Yeah. But that's good information. You know, Disco's good. He's on top of it, trying to correct things going up there and make it happen, Captain.
You guys got some freaking polar bears for some eyebrows, huh?
Yeah. Well, so that I have to say, once reading through that, I kind of feel this more bolsters my claim that I think they want to get it to the initial part to the Evocati next week. I don't think they're going to let it go out much further. I think that them admitting we're going to push it out, it's going to be buggy as all hell. By them admitting that, I think that they really are. And with what Aaron was saying, I really do believe that their goal is to get it to the Evocati sometime next week.
Well, I think obviously they want to get it done before CitizenCon. I mean, that's really what their overall goal is at this point. They wanted to get it before Gamescom. They realized that wasn't going to happen early on. And I think they really want to get it out live or be ready to go live right around CitizenCon at the latest. This is what their goal is.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you that I think they want to get it out next week. Whether they can or not, we'll see. Hopefully they can.
Oh, I think they can. I think that it'll be buggy as hell. I think that we'll see leaks coming out about it, and I wish we wouldn't, but I know we will, because, you know, that's the Evocati.
Well, they'll let us know the minute the Evocati
But this is... Right. So here's the thing. What Disco Lando put in here, talking about it being buggy when they push it out, is that preemptive strike, knowing that the leaks are going to happen when they push it to the Evocati.
Yeah.
So
I believe so.
Yeah, that's why I believe now that more than ever that it's coming out next week.
Yeah, yeah. If it's not, then it'll definitely be before the end of this month, because they're definitely trying to get it out to us as soon as possible and out to the Evocati like yesterday. Because Aaron wants it out. I mean, I imagine there has to be within that bracket of 26 blockers, there has to be a good 5 or 6 in there that have to be done to give it to Evocati. There's like absolutely no way they can do it otherwise, and it's probably related to the actual travel system, because that's what they want to focus on first. So once they make it to where they can travel between the moons and they can keep testing that, they're going to be able to continue to go on that path.
Well, that's what that guy was talking about in the burndown. He said that they had gone. It was the acceleration up to the middle of the travel and then the deceleration. So it was the issue was, were they were going too fast or they were not going fast enough? And those were some of the issues that were popping up. But he did kind of indicate that they had fixed that.
Or
at least enough.
They at least think they have fixed it at this point.
Right, so, which is why I think they're closer to saying, well, we're kind of ready to go out to the Evocati because we feel like we fixed that issue, which was primarily the biggest blocker.
Yep. Yep. I think so. Friday, October 27th. Yes, that is the time in which CitizenCon will happen. My favorite number, 27. Also, guys, while you're watching the show and hanging out with us here, make sure you are not only entering the giveaway with XMark SpaceBros for a piece of hanger flare today. Sorry, you guys about drained me out. You spent $200 in spin the wheels this last week. Oh my god, killed me. Yeah. And then additionally on top of that, make sure you're putting ! questions in chat, so that way you can ask the panel questions at the end of this episode, and we will do our best to answer them, and we'll answer them with our own personal expertise, as if we were, super smart guys that knew everything, and we're never wrong. So. There you go.
Because we're smart.
We smart like that, see? That's the way it goes. All right. So, again, going into the mission system, way that they went into lots of detail about how they broke it down, how all the iterations will work with basically what Uber Nerd alluded to earlier, where it's like choose your own adventure, except on a epic scale. Because not only that, imagine if the characters in the Choose Your Own Adventure book would remember who you are and be like, hey, you turned to page 86 last time. Why'd you do that? You know? So they're going to remember what you did, when you did it, and why you did it will probably be a question they want to ask you. So that'll be pretty cool.
There are several NPCs I should probably apologize to in advance.
Yeah, just go ahead and make amends now.
Let's get that out of the way.
Okay, so here was another piece of news that I was very happy about. And they said all the old NPCs have been moved into the subsumption missions. Yes. Well, that means the Ninetales, of course, but Tessa. Tessa, Distress Bacon Bannister.
And on top of that, they've eliminated all the old mission system.
Yes.
In 3.0. Totally so gone. Don't expect to be running comm links, at least not in the same way you were, because they said those two mission systems were built on different platforms, obviously, with one without subsumption and one with now. And there's no reason for them to maintain both these types of mission systems. So they're wiping out the completely old mission system altogether. And everything will be run through subsumption moving forward. And
that's not going to be just on 3.0.
No.
That's going to be Squadron 42 also.
It's essential. All of Squadron 42 will be running on that system. That's just how it works. So that in itself makes me more concerned that, you know, when would Squadron 42 be coming out? Because if they just got all that done, right?
I don't think it's that far behind. I really don't.
Because it depends how long does it take them to pipe from one to the other. You know what I mean?
Remember, last year, Tyler Nolan said he was playing through all the missions of Squadron 42, and the only thing they had left to do is the cinematics.
Yep.
Now, yes, they've had to go back and do render to texturing and get this new subsumption in, but everything is there.
What if they already figured out subsumption, and the reason we haven't seen Tony Z is because he's been doing nothing but Squadron 42 the whole time?
Yeah, and I think that you're right on that.
And now he's just piping it over to the main game. That's what I think's happened.
I was taking bets last night that I think Squadron 42 is going to be out before the end of the year.
That'd be awesome.
So I am taking bets on that. So
I hope you're right, but I don't know.
I think so. Because like I said, it was a year ago that you know, the community manager said he was playing through all the missions, and that all they had, you know, we're just doing the cinematic stuff now. So yeah, I think it'll be out. I really do.
We'll see. If so, that's the biggest bomb that they're like holding in their back pocket for a long time here. Where there's like,
they said they had some. I mean, and they didn't show us anything at Gamescom.
I know, and they're holding it for a lot of stuff. We'll see what they do, and it's really going to be all related to Chris, because I believe the only reason Squadron 42 is still not out yet is because Chris just isn't happy with it yet. So if he can get, I don't think it's a technical issue. It's a single player fucking game. It is entirely because Chris Roberts isn't happy yet. If he gets happy, it would have been out last year. I really believe that. If he's not happy, you know, it might be midsummer next year, if not next winter. But it's all about where Chris is at with it. They have the staff. They have the technical capability. And now that they've proven subsumption works, that was my only caveat. Was like, if there's no subsumption and AI working, then there's no way they can have Squadron 42. They've already said they've resolved that. That's done.
But remember what they said in this thing, too, is subsumption is not just like the dogfighting AI and stuff like that. It's the pathing that these NPCs are walking down the hallways and passing each other and going to the chow halls and sitting down at tables and getting out of tables. That's all part of subsumption.
And their routines and their daily lives and their memory of retaining you as a character and knowing who you are when they visually identify you again. All that stuff is built in that system, that AI system, which is, you know, insane. But at the same time, I believe everything else has gotten pushed back and delayed because they're secretly have been capping off Squadron 42 the whole time. But again, even though I agree with Toy, I think Squadron 42 essentially is done. It's not done until Chris Roberts puts a stamp on it. And it doesn't matter.
That's right.
And if he wants to go over that thing and rebuild it 17 times, he'll do it.
He will.
And I believe, but they're not going to come out and say it's done, because then when it hits Chris' desk, he's like, nah, we need to redo this part. That's why they can't do that, because it blows out of the water. Same reason they weren't happy with what they were bringing with 3.0. Same reason they weren't happy with like the vertical slice. Same reason. Chris is not scared of us to say, hey, it's not where I want it at. And he shouldn't be. I mean, that's just the way it is. He's going to make it the way he wants it, regardless if anybody cries or whines. So.
But see, they need the Delta Patcher for that game also.
They need Delta Patcher for anything they put out. Period.
Yeah. Because there's going to be bugs for Squadron 42 that they'll be patching. They can even patch in like new ships and stuff when they get ships done later on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So nobody said it was perfect. Exactly. NVIDIA. Nobody said it was perfect. Subsumption is done in the framework of how it works. They still have to populate and build all the missions for 3.0. They just have a base core set of missions that they're doing for 3.0 that are done. That's feature locked. But they have to build all the missions for all the planets, all locations, all the areas, and all stuff. But all the missions were already programmed, written up, storylined and stuff for Squadron 42 2 years ago. Those were done. So if they got character locomotion done, like I said before, the main issues they were challenged with over last year was character locomotion, animation, and pathing, and subsumption. Those are the two main things they have constantly reiterated and said, that's what we're working on. We got to do some changes here. And those were the only blockers for Squadron 42. The acting's done.
Well, we've even seen a walkthrough of some of Squadron 42. You know? Yep. Yeah, they had to go back and redo it with the new
in 2015, tool. They showed us the Morrow tour, which showed a whole bunch of collision issues. So that was one of the primary things that they needed to get out. And I think that Mitt's right that they have for the last year. Tony Z has been and the team working on Squadron has been basically putting some subsumption in there. But you got to remember, they said some very, very key things that they've had to reteach all of these people who have been used to programming AI and these older style. They had to reteach them. They had to get them to think about it in a completely different way.
And they had to teach them the tool.
Nothing like the old AI system.
Yeah, they had to teach them the tool they built because they built, like we were talking about, this tool for subsumption, how it works. It works entirely different. It's not a flat script, you know?
Well, I mean, this tool is subsumption. I mean,
yeah,
so subsumption is the new AI form. It's the new format for mission creation, and it is more of a logic. It's like you build. It's like building a computer, you know.
Yeah.
It's you actually map out how the computer is supposed to work, and you have all these different pathways, you know. And it is like a choose your own adventure on steroids.
And I see what you're saying, NVIDIA, but again, I'll reiterate. Subsumption, the iteration of how it would work in Squadron 42 is much simpler than what it would be online. You don't have that much deviation. It's a single character as you playing the game. And NPCs only have to be aware of you as a player, not how you interact with everybody else, not thousands of other players, right? So in the simplest framework of how it would work and how it would be tested, it would make more sense to have subsumption done for Squadron 42 first, and then slowly build and iterate it on the major game, because then you have so much more complexity to flesh it out and deal with an entire open world that's constantly persistent and doesn't just shut off every time you turn off the game and hit save. That's a major difference between Squadron 42 and the main game. So I 100% believe if they're even close to having it in here, I'm pretty sure they're done with it for Squadron 42.
Yeah.
And remember, there's only going to be so many key players in Squadron 42 also. I mean, most of the flight deck guys or whatever, they're going to have basic, okay, we're out here for a while, then we go eat, then we go to bed, and then we're back again type of thing.
It's a perfect test bed.
Yeah.
They don't need a 24-hour routine either.
But they will
they'll have it.
Yeah, they will have
it. They don't need it. They're going to have limited things that they need to do.
That's right.
Yeah, very limited.
Yeah. Because it's going to go along the story. You're not going to blow up the whole carrier unless that's part of the story. You can't impact the environment to that degree as a single player. You're going to have some sort of path that you go, unlike in the open online where you don't know what could happen, right? You have AI affecting AI outside of a set story, right? There's themes, there's instances,
less of that emergent gameplay.
Exactly. So you're going to have those things happen. So since you have more control in the single player game, I still believe it's a little bit easier to program AI. But I'd love to have a conversation with Tony Z and see what he'd say about it, because I think that'd be great. He didn't have to tell us anything's done or anything.
Well,
but I just want to know
we'll find out.
I think we'll find out either way.
Yeah, I think what we'll find out is after Squadron 42 comes out, we will then know exactly how close they were at this point.
Yep.
And I think that they are way beyond, like you're saying, man. I think they are done, like incorporating the subsumption AI into Squadron, and that right now it's just pure polish phase right now.
Yeah.
And yes, the subsumption that is used in a single player game is so different than the subsumption that is used in a multiplayer universe. And the subsumption that's used in the multiplayer verse in the MMO is on 24/7. It's not on 24/7 in the single player game. As you said, you log out, you save and then you log out. The subsumption doesn't have to run 24/7, but it does have to run 24/7 in the MMO. The AI in the MMO actually have to go to bed and wake up in the morning and go shopping or whatever, right? And they will be doing that, and it has to continue on and on, because when you log off, Drones is on, and when Drones logs off, then Toy is on, and then when Toy logs off, I'm on. So the AI is always got to be on, and that's the difference, and that's why it's taken so long for subsumption to reach the stage of getting into 3.0.
And it has to react to all of us.
Right, and it could have been totally ready for the single player game a year ago, whereas it takes a lot more. To get it ready for the multiplayer.
I don't believe they had subsumption already a year ago, but I believe they've completed it this year for Squadron 42.
Remember in 2015 they didn't, but I believe that they did. But they when they started going totally silent on Squadron 42, like I think it was ready. But remember, it was like they were in the finishing phases of it, and they were going to show us a vertical slice, but subsumption was not quite there. I think they got it ready by the time it was like November or December, and then they have just been like down, nose to the grindstone, not doing anything. We haven't heard from Tony Z the entire year up until this point.
I think also, if you remember, one of the main reasons they also didn't show the vertical slice is some of the animations weren't tight enough. I think subsumption was there. They ran into some of these animation blockers that we've recently seen, right? They're coming up with Squadron 42, counters not being right, all this stuff. They had control of that for Squadron 42. But implementing these new environments, doing some different things there, they're kind of like, oops, here, this isn't quite right. They've probably mitigated a lot of that in Squadron 42 previous months, but now they're doing it in game. I still think everything for Squadron 42 takes priority for Chris Roberts. I 100% believe that, because the online will always be built, and if you listen to him, when he talks, whether to a magazine, an interview, or whatever, he always talks about how the game's pretty much out now. That's exactly what he says. The game's pretty much out now, and it's just being iterated on through builds. It might not be fully fleshed out with all the features yet, but he still looks at it like the game is out now for the online version. So I believe his major focus has always been Squadron 42. And at some point, just like a game, you have to say, okay, this is where we're at, this is where we want it to be, and we got to be done. Hopefully they won't continue to like rewrite and add and do all that stuff over there, because they still got 2 more chapters to do of what they want to do with that whole genre, that whole franchise. So they got to stop somewhere, and if they want to add in render to texture and do all the other stuff like they're showing, right, then they literally have to... Those were the things I think Squadron 42 has been waiting on this summer. Render to texture. All these new tech pieces they want to... Chris probably keeps adding in to Squadron 42. That's always the case. So I believe that those animations, those things are there. I think the core code and structure of subsumption's been done, and they've just been tweaking and refining it over the last 6-8 months. And just doing that.
I want to say that when you say it's been done, in some iteration, not
in the framework of it. It's never going to be done. The framework is done.
I don't want people in chat to misunderstand and think that when we say it's done, that means like it's 100%, it's perfect.
They have they have their template, they have their structure.
The framework is ready.
Yeah, the framework's ready. They have their structure. They have all the template. They have the tools to allow the mission creators, the storytellers, to put in the data and put it all together. And I think that aspect of Squadron 42 is completely done. There's probably still animation stuff they're polishing up, little things.
Right.
But yeah.
The foundational aspect of subsumption was finished last year. The foundational aspect of it that allowed them to begin building the single player. The foundational aspect that would allow them to build the MMO wasn't done until probably June or July this year. So year. It was probably a 6-month lag from the single player version of Subsumption being foundationally finished, but not, I mean, it's a software program, so it'll be always iterated and expanded on and improved. But for them to be able to start, I think that they had Subsumption ready to start working on their AI for Squadron 42 sometime in the early or mid part of last year, and that's why they were hoping to get a vertical slice.
Yep.
They were because Subsumption was working kind of, but it just wasn't good enough. There were still clipping, there was still pathing was wrong, and there were still all these issues.
They didn't have render to texture done. There's a lot of elements and stuff, and it's something else that they were working towards. They were working on those elements, and they're like, they're probably looking at all the vertical slices. They're like, it didn't have this yet, though. That's not done yet. Oh, so no holograms yet? Yeah, so there's so much.
To announce the Squadron 42 vertical slice does tell me that Subsumption was done enough that they were starting to add it into Squadron 42 to the point where they felt like they could get there. But it just wasn't, there were certain things that were missing. And
when
so
they put it all together, they knew the tech pieces, the core elements were there, the framework was there. They thought they could throw something together for the presentation. They put it together. It looked like horse hockey. They said, nah, fuck this. We're going to have to give it more time and get it done. Yep. Because that's honestly what it was.
I think Mitt's right, though. I mean, because some of these tools that they've come up with recently, you know, when I say recently, within the past, 6 months or so, since CitizenCon, the volumetric fog. Dude, have you the nebulas we saw on that one ATV? Oh my God. They got to get that in the game.
And
you know what I mean?
And all those screens, 95% of the screen examples, even though they've been silent in Squadron 42 all this year, have been from Squadron 42. Showing in a test environment to that, like everything. This is a room. This is him talking to a hologram over here. That's where they test everything, is in that build. It goes there first. Then they're like, all right, now we'll try to make it work with actual people. Good luck. And
remember, they've redone the lighting that they said was like save them so much in memory usage and stuff like that.
Yes.
So all those components, I'm sure they had it done in Squadron 42, but now they're going back and redoing it, and it's freeing up so much, memory hog that it was probably a big beast. And they're finally whittling it away with all these new tools that they're coming out with. So
yeah, but like Brandon says in there, he says, I don't think technical aspects Squadron 42 could have been made, and Squadron could have been made in Unreal Engine. Yeah, but it wouldn't be to the quality of what Chris wants. And it says, however, Chris can't release Squadron 42 until it can work as a gateway into Star Citizen. Well, that's not true at all. Star Citizen will not be done before they release Squadron 42. I promise.
Squadron 42 does not lead into Star Citizen. Remember, it's 3 parts, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 parts.
Yeah, and it also takes place. So the Star Citizen is going to take place several years after Squadron 42.
Yeah. But they did say they wanted to use it for players to kind of have a training ground to get in, but that's fine. That just means it has to come out before Star Citizen does.
Well, so the people who finish, who go through Squadron 42 become citizens. If you don't ever play Squadron 42, you don't get citizen status.
Yeah, which they still don't know what that'll mean in the game, really. But
there's and they don't know. Yeah,
you'll get some sort. It's like an achievement. If you finish the game, you'll be recognized as a citizen.
Right.
So again, in every aspect, Squadron 42 will come out before.
And the medals that you get, that you get, the heroic acts that you perform may, some military person may recognize you, Subsumption, and go, oh, hey, you're this person from,
And Spaceship's right. If characters even look slightly wonky walking upstairs or anything, CR will delay. 100% agree. He'll delay. Yep. If it's not the way he wants it, he will delay the shit out of it. And it'd be 2 years from now. It doesn't matter. But all I'm saying is my core belief is the whole framework, the whole foundation, everything for them to input the data for Subsumption is done. That is done. They might still be inputting more data. They might be transferring more logic into there. They might be, Chris might say, hey, we got to add this. Oh, look, so-and-so discovered how to make shoes that glow. Well, we're going to add all those into the game, too, because I want to. And he does those type of calls all the freaking time.
But there's a whole component of stuff. So, like you guys are saying, that we are looking at this stuff coming into the verse in an environment where there's a client and a server, two separate, disparate machines that are having to communicate with each other. But not only that, but you have 24 all having to communicate at the same time at a bare minimum or more. And that whole bit of code, all of that stuff doesn't exist in Squadron 42. So I agree completely that I think that subsumption in Squadron 42 is a very different animal than, I mean, it's based on the same logic structure and the building structure, but there are certain components that don't have to be there. And that is the components that communicate certain things to the network, and then back to your client. And I don't just mean the pathing, because remember, the pathing, the subsumption, all that stuff is going to be happening. Your computer, your PC is going to be moving that AI character around. But the pathing is going to be.
It's been around, but it hasn't been even. They've just recently gotten that in a state of solid, according to them. So, I mean, again, like I said, subsumption, in my mind, again, has been the framework, all the logic, all the stuff has been in Squadron 42 now for a while. But again, it revealed a lot, just like everything else they do. They discover problems when they put it in. So the pathing revealed itself. The pathing didn't reveal itself because they went into the MMO and said, hey, we'll make a path for a character and we'll do this. No, even the scene they show was on the carrier, so they probably was doing the subsumption inside the carrier for Squadron 42, and the pathing was all wonky, and they were like, oh, that's fucked up. Well, here's how we fixed it, because they even showed it on ATV again. So again, all these things are generally things that are Squadron 42 scenes. If you go back, and you'll be like, oh, they're all Squadron 42 scenes where they're showing a lot of the stuff.
So you guys understand how, like, Kythera AI works for pathing, right? You actually have to draw the path out where you want the AI to go. Subsumption is not that way. Subsumption is these AI, they have jobs, they have bunks, they have hunger mechanics, all built into the AI. And then you set them loose, and they are supposed to path. Basically, the path, you draw the path. Basically, you draw the path, but then the AI is supposed to follow. Okay, and not walk into walls and that kind of stuff. And that was the problem they were having, is that it was walking into walls. It was crossing over these lines that were drawn. Rather than you draw a line along the pathway and then it follows that line, you draw a pathway and it follows the pathway based on where it's supposed to go. So that's the difference, and that's why it was messy. They were trying to figure out why it was crossing over this invisible pathway that we don't see and walking into walls, right? And they couldn't figure it out. And so I think they have figured it out.
Subsumption essentially is a state of awareness for the AI. Instead of it following a puppeteer trails, it is a state of awareness to where your job, your name is Joe. Your job is to go repair this object over there, and then you'll go eat lunch, and then you'll do that stuff. And because it's state awareness, it tries to do its job, and you won't, hopefully, if they do it right, you won't be able to block that character. That character will choose to path around you if there's an object included there. And that's one of the things they've shown, like 4 months ago. They showed all the AI walking and how they're avoiding each other in that ATV. That's because, again, that was more of the state of AI and their pathing stuff, their solutions of how to make the characters not only be aware of their environment, but aware of each other in space, and that way they could actually avoid and do those things. So that's always been there for a long time. They've just more recently perfected it. And that's why, again, I'll ask the question if I ever get the opportunity, devs on the path, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be on one of those, like, you know, what would be on the DVD commentary on a movie. Like, hey, we figured this out, and we did it all in Squadron 42 first after everything's done, because they aren't going to tell you everything right now.
No.
But,
so. Well, that would give away certain aspects that they don't want to give away. So.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Well, guys, we're going to go. I'm going to start checking over here for questions and stuff like that. So we're going to do that. There's a lot of meat and potatoes that we've been talking about with all the AI subsumption and all that stuff. But we're going to see what you guys have for questions and go from there. As I find my
so exciting
again. Yeah, it's really been great news all the way around. I mean, it's really positive. Now, again, I try to reserve myself a little bit because next week, you don't know. I mean, things change week to week, but I'm going to stay positive on the fact that I'm pretty sure it's going to keep going in a good direction, I would hope, at this point.
Yeah, I am of the opinion that and I'm just going to stick to it, even if I'm wrong. But I'm of the opinion that they're going to pull a Fallout 4 on us at CitizenCon.
Yeah.
Like remember the announcement for Fallout 4 was like 2 months before they released it.
Could be.
It was like it was so quiet. It was so quick.
That would be good though. I mean, and that's why I'm saying Squadron 42 will be out before the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
Announced it at CitizenCon. Boom, It's out for Christmas.
Yep, that's exactly what I think.
The only reason I can't 100% agree with the Squadron 42 thing is because there's no way to predict what Chris will do. Could it be out by the end of this year? If they wanted to get it out and Chris was like, hey, it's good, I think they could. But
sure,
I think all the tech they've wanted to add in with the render to texture stuff and perfecting that, because that's even an early iteration what we saw. That's not done and polished, right? I don't think they're done with all the tech they've added in across the last 6 months. I think they're on a good path. I think they have a lot of the tools they need to do everything. But I think they've added in a ton of shit this last 6 months. So it's up in the air to me whether it be done by the end of this year or not. I purely expect them to kind of hint towards a marketing plan at CitizenCon, like saying, hey, spring 2018 or something of that nature. But I don't know. It just depends where Chris is at in his headspace. I think they have the capability to get it done, but not if they keep adding shit. It's not going to be that way. So
I was real happy to see Aaron in there pushing to get this thing out now.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
even if it's full of bugs, he's like, even if it's full of bugs, if those Evocati can get on a planet, let's get it out.
You know? Yes, I love that.
That was awesome.
All right,
I do think they're further along with the tools than I ever thought they were. So.
That's just it, and I didn't even realize like how they were doing the tool. And once they showed the tool like that, because we've seen the tool in its infancy, but what they've showed us 7 months ago on the tool to what they showed right now, it's the same fucking tool. It's just populated.
Well, the way I look at it, from what I've seen of the Star Citizen development, is they're not building a game. They're building a shit ton of tools to build a game. Yep. And then the game comes from that.
And then think about this. Awesome. Expansions and builds and add-ons are, hey, we need 20 more missions. Great. Get the writers writing. Let's start putting this shit in there. And you have all these new missions, all these new variants you can do, all these new tie-ins and stuff. That's
really eventually.
Imagine them leasing this tech out to other gaming companies.
Yeah.
They can bring in a whole new revenue stream.
But they're building tools where they could perpetuate the game for literally decades if they really want to.
I know, but what I'm saying though is they're building these tools, they're gonna use it for Star Citizen, but say another gaming company comes along and watches one of these things and says, shit, we want that in our game.
It's like an advertisement for the tools. It is. So
exactly.
It's really
well, I look at it this way. I keep seeing all kinds of advertisements for Lumberyard. And if Amazon's pushing and driving Lumberyard and you've got a whole set of tools that you're willing to lease out, that's a serious revenue stream.
So, like...
Uh-oh.
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 You got a frozen nerd.
I agree, Uber Nerd.
Attention. Attention, chat. Uber Nerd has run out of bacon. Sound the alarm.
Give him some bacon, guys.
Bacon.
He needs some bacon. Refuel him.
Need some bacon wars going on.
Oh, man. Somebody unplugged his internet. All right. Well, we'll leave Uber Nerd right there. He'll be back in at least in Discord in a moment.
He's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's fine. It's all okay. It's okay. It's going to be all right, guys. All right. We'll start going through questions, and we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Because I see him in...
Hey, Uber Nerd, why don't you answer the first one?
There we go. And the first question for Uber Nerd. All right. Guns and glue. Oh, I knew it. I knew it. You went away and you screwed it all up. But at least I still look pretty. Right now we have Dr. Drone standing in for Uber Nerd.
There we go.
And Toy is half in his...
I got this.
He's got this. All right. Make it sound technical. Here we go. First question, Guns of Glue. It says, in this month's Jump Point, they showed off some modules for the new Cutlass. Modular cargo hold and modular living space. Do you think such modularity will be expanded on, or will they just third-party add-ons to make the Cutlass higher quality, like bathrooms? Are we still hung up on the fucking Cutlass bathrooms, for real? Are we? I don't know. What do you think, Toy? Do you think they're going to keep adding on modularity to be expanded on, or are they going to leave it where they're at with it, or what do you think of the Cutlass?
No, they've flat out said it's a stripped down, you know, you're getting what you're getting and don't throw a fit type of, you know, vehicle. So, no, they're not going to add shit to that thing.
Okay.
You've seen the best it's going to be right there.
Yeah. Dr. Jones. Oh, I mean, Uber Nerd.
It's $100 ship, right? I mean, it's not like this thing is a $500, $600 ship.
Oh, cool. Looks like we got Drones and Uber Nerd back now. So we'll ask Drones first. Let's Drones.
So my opinion on this is always going to be
your ventriloquism sucks, by the way.
No.
Thank you.
Bathroom.
My only opinion on this is the only thing that matters was the Cutlass Red. To hell with the rest of it. I don't care if they modularize it, don't modularize it.
I just don't see them making a modular vehicle to that degree. You know, there might be some options. I just don't see them. Not on the Cutlass. I mean, they don't want to give.
There, we're good.
The only thing they ever really looked at adding a lot of adaptability under the Drake aspect was the Caterpillar. And I can't think of any other Drake ships where they really wanted to make it that kind of, you know, adjustable type modularity in any of those ships. So, just the Caterpillar. All right.
And the Carrick.
Yeah.
Carrick gets modular.
Oh, you know what?
And what's Uber Nerd think? Screw you, Mitauchi. Oh, man. You got a mouth on you for being PG-13. I can't believe that. Good Lord. All right. Joe's got more. Says, do you think the fake 45,000 helps CIG since it shows off a level of misleading information people put out that don't want Star Citizen to succeed? And for those of you guys who don't know the story, there was a huge blow up that somebody even wrote an article on. This goes again to the fake news thing. Write an article on information that's been faked. That's checking your sources. Saying there was a $45,000 refund that was requested by one Star Citizen, which turned out to be a $330 refund that somebody had just thrown in there and then kind of went with. I don't know if it helps or hurts. I think most of the world knows that people are out to get Star Citizen for one reason or another, but I do think it helps delegitimize their bitch fest, because it exposes the extremes people go to try to sabotage a project, and it just doesn't make any sense. Like, why go to that degree? What do you think, Toy? What do you think about the 45K story? Do you think it helped or hurt CIG as far as like exposing stuff?
You know, they always say advertising of any kind is good. You know, bad advertising or, you know, media, I guess. So if it gets some more exposure, you know, somebody's going to dig into it and find out that the story is bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think it ends up being good for them, especially if they look at the game. I mean, people cry that this foul about this game all the time, but you can get in right now, and it's worth more money now than half the damn games that they're selling on Steam for same price.
It's true.
So.
Oh, looks like we got Uber Nerd back.
Yeah, partially.
Partially. We'll see if you can reconnect to that link up there in our channel, too.
I should be able to.
Yeah, we'll see what it does to Windows then. Right now, Drones has his bobblehead standing in for you, so it's been working out.
Oh,
that's
mine.
Oh, that's Toy. Toy's been standing in with the bobblehead for Drones, and Drones went down and took care of it.
If I was Drones, it'd be like this. This is what you see.
The top of the head looking down at the keyboard.
Sorry, Drones.
Everybody's a critic.
There we go.
It's all good.
Oh, look. Perfect. Now, Toy Grubbin is now Uber Nerd, and Drones is... Well, we're going to leave it like this. Everybody's got a different... Yeah.
We're all in. Oh well, hey, how you doing, guys?
There you go. No. And then that means Super Nerd's got to talk about dongs the rest of the stream, so it's going to be great.
So there was a show about dongs, and I was I told that it was a stick of truth, but it was just a dong slider. Those bastards, they lied to me.
Perfect. Now we got all that settled. So yeah, we were just talking about the 45K incident, the whole fake 45,000. Yeah, so it's like, did you think that information helped or hurt CIG in any way? Just about the whole fake news.
It helped CIG immensely because it showed whoever the desperation of the people who just are trying as hard as they can to make CIG look bad. And there are these people, especially out there in the gaming news section, that are jumping on things too fast. The next time somebody comes to them with some Reddit post.
Rather loosely.
What's that?
I said you used the term news rather loosely.
Yeah,
well,
news in general is loosely now.
They are the news, but they are not the news, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
These guys are, they're reporting on things so quickly that they're not verifying sources, and it's gonna, hopefully it'll teach them a lesson. Reddit is not right. In fact, most of the time, it is full of just complete BS.
Yeah,
most of the time, anything you read on Reddit is absolutely false.
I don't know if I can believe this.
So
I don't know what you're saying there. Reddit is like
the truth.
Reddit is the new religion.
The problem is that if it seems too juicy, it probably is a lie.
And to be fair, I think a lot of these journalists, if I can use that term very wide and loosely, they don't give a shit if they don't care about sources. They care about clicks. And so this guy probably knew this may or may not be true, but he didn't care because there's no repercussions on him at all.
Nope.
Like, what's going to happen to him for him printing up an article that says that? Absolutely nothing. And CIG is just going to be like, well, they've just proved our point.
But the good thing, that's why I was saying, I think that it is going to turn out to be really good for CIG, because the articles then they did change all the headings. You could see it's faked. And then they go down there and they say, we went and checked it out. The guy deleted his Reddit account.
Imagine that.
Yep.
Just that one Reddit account of his. But, yeah.
Well, the one that was, had all the pictures on it that was, showing all the
Photoshop.
Look, I got $45,000, like, no, you
wait till I get done with my Photoshop of the show. I started to make one that said I got $1 billion refund. Like, I got more refund than what CIG has in money. They owe me money.
Oh.
I didn't know we were going Avatar in this one.
Yeah, that's not Avatar. That's just an OD on Viagra.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so next question from Joe's Got More as well is, how are they going to address persistence with regard to logging out? If I log out in a friendship, then I don't get back to Star Citizen for a month. Do I stay in that bed for a month, a week, a day, an hour? At what point am I somewhere else, if at all? They've already addressed this, actually. They've already kind of told us what's going on. It is up to the captain of that ship to decide. He can just leave you at a spaceport if he wants. He can say, yep, go there, and you'll just spawn there next time, so you're no longer occupying that bed. So it's like bed management 101.
Yes, yep. So you'll be able to, but you'll have to be at that spaceport to unload a person. But once you dock at a spaceport, you click on your your ship management, and there will be probably a bed. Yeah. So you'll be able to basically clear the beds. You'll be able to click on them probably. Like they'll just be little icons. Click on one, clear. And if your friends are in beds that you want them to stay in, you leave those, right?
Yep.
And the people that are cleared, that when they wake up, they'll wake up at that station. Or wherever you clear the bed.
But I would also add, if you're going to log out in somebody's ship for a long time, you better trust them a lot, because they can just come up and kill you in your bed too if they really want to. Or if their ship explodes, you'll be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that happens while you're logged out, I wouldn't. What I'm saying is, don't log out in your bro's ship for weeks or days.
Here's the thing: if they are in the ship, you don't just disappear out of the bed. I think they've already said, you stay.
So they can come up and shoot you if they wanted, or if they're boarded, you could be shot, or if the ship's destroyed. All these instances that might be beyond your buddy's control can happen. So you better trust him implicitly to not only, not murder you, but just to be a good pilot. If he gets drunk,
I'm not your buddy, friend.
Yeah,
so it's going to be kind of like
your pal guy.
Your character stays in all the time.
Yeah. So you're always there.
Right.
Yep. You're always there.
Wherever you go, there you are.
No. You know what's going to be funny about that, though? So imagine you're walking around Area 18 and a whole, city's internet goes down. And then all of a sudden, all the bodies are just laying there in the middle of the area.
What was that movie where everybody had a symbiote or something?
With Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and then they all just, fall over whenever they all disconnected.
Yeah, where there were old people and they were in their robot bodies.
They're robot
people.
clones. And they were all just jacked into.
I can't remember.
I don't know what it was called either.
Old people are smelly.
Don't get that close to him. All right, next question. Unless you had anything to add to that one, anybody? As far as logging out in beds, I think that was already been stated though, so it's kind of. We'll have drones answer the next one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry,
when using a hand grenade? No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Zosern says, what you're looking for in 3.0 comes out, and what would you do first? He actually said fist, but we won't go that route. It's not that kind of game. When it comes out, and what ship will you go with when first launch? So basically, what are you going to do when 3.0 comes out?
Well,
what are you going to do? What ship you're going to do?
I've already answered this a dozen times.
I know, but there's new viewers today. Maybe different people.
No, I'm good answering it again.
Okay.
I want to do an experiment whereby someone is driving a rover or other multi-person vehicle. I want to throw a grenade as we fly out of the cargo bay of a ship in quantum drive. Just for fun. That's the first thing I want to do. And that'll probably happen in something like a Cutlass, maybe?
Oh.
I don't know. Kind of undecided. Yeah.
Toy, how about you?
I don't know. Once they can get it so you can have lots of people on the server together, I want to do a tower of caterpillars. See how many we can stack from the ground. See if we can make it to the atmosphere.
Actually physically stack them?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Long ways. Big tower of cats.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. I see.
Remember, the planet rotates. Have you ever tried parking a ship on one of those rotating asteroids?
Well, you're worried about the rotation. I'm thinking about the trolls that are going to slam Noxes in the That's what I envision happening.
Oh my gosh.
You're going to get 8 or 9 up. You're going to get that 10th one perfectly aligned.
Uber Nerd, how about you, buddy? What are you going to do when 3.0 drops? Right, ship-wise, plan-wise, all that stuff. What do you want to do?
Well, I'm, in the live, for show and tell and all that other stuff, probably circumnavigate a moon.
Cool.
On a Nox.
I think we're definitely going to get some of the Space Bros together and some of the Overwatch members and go have some fun. Races, bounty hunting, all that stuff. We're going to make our own bounty hunting. It's like,
Nox races.
Yep, Nox races. I want to do canyon races. I want to get in the canyon and, just see who can do that the best.
Maybe we can try to see who can jump a canyon.
Jump a canyon while we're racing planes in it. So you're taking ships and then you're trying to jump over the canyon and do the whole Evel Knievel thing. Be badass. We'll do that. Let's see. Evil Idea says, please discuss stamina system and how fast-paced versus strategic FPS will become. Okay. We could do that. That's it. Anybody want to talk about it other than me?
I'll jump in real quick. I think, fast-paced, you're still going to have fast pace. Since they're not doing the real pass-out thing, it's more of a, heavy breathing for a while.
Bad aiming.
But I think it's going to rely a whole lot more on hip firing. So it's going to change the whole dynamic of.
I think it's going to be burst pace. It's not going to be fast anymore, like running the whole time. I think there's going to be
run and gun anymore.
Nope. And I think there will be strategy.
Welcome to Rainbow Six Siege in space.
Like going up, taking a position, covering while the next crew goes up, and do that stagger step kind of maneuvers to get somewhere faster, so that every group that goes up to the front part, they get to rest while the other crew goes past them, right? So that you're not running the whole way, and that's the way you can move through fast, because otherwise, if you get too dizzy.
What do they call that formation? Is it a cover 2 where you like have 2 to 3-man squad, and then you have one suppressive fire while the next one pulls forward? I can't remember what the technical term is. I don't know.
So I think that's going to be tactics are going to come into play.
Yep, definitely. I think I'm hoping it doesn't become just a sniper field, because
I don't know if you guys noticed though, but when they were talking about stamina in that episode of ATV, they were also talking about buffs and debuffs being a possibility now. So we could be looking at diseases and shit like that affecting your gameplay.
I know. I'm going to curse you for 5,000 slow, so that way. The thing is, I hope they're very cautious in this. Part of the reason I really enjoy the idea of Star Citizen is because it's not a stat pattern. It's about my gameplay versus your gameplay, and then anybody can come out on top any day because the player versus player skill. They got to be careful when they start doing buffs and debuffs to make them just kind of nice little things that help a little bit, but nothing that's going to be like OP. Because if they go that route with it, and if every time you eat a banana you get 5% faster, or every time you do this it mitigates all stamina issues, you're going to have people that are going to exploit that. And it's a slippery slope, especially for a game where they're like, there's no skill points, it's player versus thing. People are going to try to get any edge they can because there's no other way to get an edge. That's why we keep talking about, modifying weapons, overclocking things. These minor percentage points. I think that
what you're going to see, like the modified weapon, that while it may be more powerful, while it may cause more damage, it probably will explode in your face far more often than the one that's not modified. So you could be in the middle of battle and kaplow, your weapon blows up in your face. And blinds you, and you lose whatever fight you're in.
That's gonna suck if it's related to buff debuff, because they're related to fear.
No. What if, I'm saying, so that's on the weapon, the weapon modification side. Now for buff debuff, if you're buffing all the time, there is going to be some serious physiological side effects. Well,
if you overbuff.
Serious physiological side effects so what I think that they're going to try to do is they're going to try to make it so that use it too much, and like any kind of drug, it's not going to be like carrying bananas around with you. There will be pills that you can take, but there will be pills that you can take. Now, to recover stamina faster, you can sit down, you can break out an MRE, and you can eat, but you can't do it on the run.
That's right.
That's kind of how I look at it.
Or with no atmosphere, right? You just like sticking it through your helmet. Like, bing,
if there's no atmosphere, you're in your helmet. Sorry, drink a little bit of water. That'll help you to recover because you got a little, tube in there. Maybe like Gatorade or something like that. So or Pips, not Gatorade, it's Pips, right? But so maybe they have Pips in your thing that will help you to recover some electrolytes, but it's not going to be a permanent fix. And if you do it too much, it could be bad for you.
Yeah, that'd be good. You explode in your pants, just like you explode the weapon. So it's like then you got to change your suit.
Yeah,
you have all kinds of problems. It's like ate one too many bananas.
I just peed myself. Oh God, I just did it again. Well, that wasn't pee. Oh geez.
Oh no.
You need dune suits where you pee and it just recycles your water back to you.
I always wondered,
I don't remember drinking that.
But what's to do with the poop?
Recycle.
It dehydrates and comes out in solid cubes, like acid injections a lot. That'd be good.
Yeah, they just inject beef flavor and they come out as bouillon.
There you go. We'll use that in the soup later. It'd be perfect.
That's right.
When we were talking about the banana, though, I constantly pictured a bandolier of bananas. Like you'd have a banana leer. Like all these bananas, like, oh, gotta eat them. Gotta get them done.
I've installed the new Poopulator 7000 in my colon. Perfect. And it uses a fusion reactor to dispose of that before it, so I never have to poop ever again.
There you go.
Ooh.
Fossil fuel.
The Poopulator 7000.
There it is. Let's see. All right, next thing is, how long do you think till Zone... This is from Spaceship Training Wheels, by the way. How long do you think till Tony Z realizes his full vision for subsumption and the economy, i.e., we haven't heard anything about AI being ready to drive the economy? I don't think AI themselves will make decisions like that, like what we're thinking. It'll be an AI system that's like the top 1% that you never see of the NPCs in the magical verse that will be making these big financial decisions. The AI will be that you actually interact with, will be the people like you, the working class and elitists that live in that universe. They'll make precursory changes and stuff at a very high level that you won't be able to influence. And these big dogs that you never actually meet will be the ones funding these things and having these things and helping influence the economy.
Yeah, they've already said the economy is going to be run by the developers. Yeah. The behind the scenes by CIG is running the economy. They will adjust little bits. They'll have dong sliders for the economy.
There you go.
So Toy understands this.
Yeah, we have to speak in dong.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. So, but that's going to be what it is. They're going to have these tools that can have them to say, "Oh, right. Well, we're just going to cause a little shortage over here, or we're going to cause a surplus over here." They'll be able to adjust the economy, and the AI should react to that.
Yep.
And the AI is not going to drive the economy. The AI is almost entirely reactive. What you do out there is going to cause reactions. If you cause a blockade of a certain area, of a certain mineral or a certain thing that they need, that will cause the AI to react and either come out and fight you or find a different route or find a different source. That's going to be that way. Now, if it comes to the point where the players are seen to be over manipulating something, then CIG will step in and do what they do behind the scenes. That's kind of how I view it.
Me too. And I believe the AI being like reactive ants in the system is just on the same level as the players. If you didn't have the players physically in there, the game could essentially, the way they want to balance it, will run without you. It would be there, and these things would interact. Pirates would attack other non-pirate NPCs. UE would come in to defend off the pirates after they got too hot in an area. It'd be like
it's the simulation
own
we wish we were living in.
Yeah, it'll be its own sandbox. So these things will happen whether you're there or not. You just influence these things. You don't control them. You do have influence over them, though.
Man, it would be cool to have like cameras around the verse where you could just have that broadcasting, just all 24/7 in the verse broadcast of just watching things happen.
A separate server though, where there's no players. I would love that because you could attach your camera to one AI and follow him around for the day and see what he does. That'd be amazing.
How about, since it's all Amazon and Lumber,
it'd be like the Truman Show in Star Trek universe.
Yep. All right. Let's see. What do you think about quantum travel having a ramp up speed? Larger ships, slower acceleration, smaller than smaller ships, right? Toy, why don't you take this one?
I love it. I mean, it's being able to go from 0 to, the fastest speed just right off the bat, I think is dumb anyway. So I do like the ramp up speed. Which can be adjusted for all the ships, because some ships are, interdiction is going to be going in here pretty soon. And some of these ships are going to try and get away. And that ramp up speed is going to make a difference on some of those interdiction.
I want to know what happened to their metric they were talking about, where large ships are supposed to have a higher top end speed but slower to accelerate. I mean, I know they were talking about that when they did the flight model, but we've never heard about it again or seen anything what the plan is. I mean, given we don't have a lot of large ships in the game, or what they may classify as large, but that would be, I think that plan was the best plan for the way to design it. So hopefully they decide to go to that path, and they make these big ships. They're slow to accelerate, but the top speed a fighter can't keep up with once it hits those top cruise speeds. So I like that.
I mean, so what I look at is, and I don't know, I think this question kind of spawns from what they were talking about earlier today, or should I say in the ATV, right? Where they were talking about how one of the bugs was that it would accelerate too much and not be able to slow down in time. They were missing their marks. They were either, it was taking too long to go between these locations, or it was not, or it was going too fast and they were going way past, right? So they were not able to hit the mark when it came to that. So, but I don't think when he talked about there being a ramp up speed, I don't think that he was talking about it in terms of what we could physically see. I think it still is going to be way too much. I think it is going to be way too much for us to be able to deal with in terms of interdiction. It's not going to ramp up slowly like what Mitt and I are talking about in terms of these types of speeds.
But it should. It should.
Well, no, but that's going to be the so. What I was thinking of, now I know that they haven't talked about this at all, but what I was thinking of for that is it would be great if there was, like, there's a cruise, like, cruise doesn't exist in the way that it did. It's not like a button you hit to go to cruise speed, right? You have to hit boost in order to get up to that speed. But what I'd like to see is that, like you said, that top speed be higher for big ships. And let's just say that for all ships that want to go into quantum, let's say you have to get up to a certain speed before the quantum drive will kick in, right? You have to prime the pump, so to speak. And so for the bigger ships, you have to actually go to a higher speed in order to be able to then kick the quantum drive in and boom, catapult you to the next location, right? So I'd like to see the smaller the ship, the smaller that threshold needs to be reached, and then we're now going the right speed. You can now spool up the quantum drive, and that way it would be this period of time that the ship, Caterpillar, Hull C, Hull D, Hull E, whatever it is, it would be this period of time from 0 or from whatever the initial speed was to that. Okay, we know that the Hull C, when it reaches 600 meters per second, it can then jump to quantum. We don't want to let it reach that speed. So you're firing at its engines, you're trying to slow it down, you're trying to stop it before it gets to that point where it can then activate their quantum drive. So that's kind of what I was hoping that they would do. Not this, you turn on the quantum drive and it starts spooling up and you start moving faster at that point. Because I'd like to see there be this point in between your speeding up and where you can actually, and everybody knows, so we know in our minds, we know that the quantum drive that it can be activated at 600 meters per second, and they start off at 150 meters per second. Well, we have that period of time, that ramp up speed, them speeding up to get to that so that they can quantum away. We have that amount of time to possibly maybe stop them. And they're in the turrets trying to stop us from stopping them. And, the battle ensues, right? Mm-hmm. It's like that chase. And when I think about that, I think about that chase in Star Wars, episode 4, where they are fighting back and forth. There's that chase happening. Now, it's this different reason for the chase happening, but it's same kind of principle that would translate over to one's trying to get away from the other. So that's kind of how I look at that.
Absolutely.
How I hope that it would be.
Yeah.
I know that was a long explanation, but
very long.
Next question.
I saw a toy falling asleep there.
I was actually reading an awesome announcement that just came across my board for those of you who haven't checked it out yet. It was just came out an hour ago, a email from CIG with their newsletter, their weekly newsletter.
Yeah.
And they gave some more details on CitizenCon. They will be opening the doors at noon out there for people to walk around and do the whole thing beforehand. So we've decided to expand CitizenCon's format to give mini backers more of a chance to meet and mingle with the team, enjoy the experience, and explore interactive elements.
You're gonna have the new keyboard set up there.
CAD, maybe the new camera, maybe.
Yeah,
there you go. C&D
Events
is proud to announce the theme for 2947 CitizenCon, Exploring New Worlds, With help of our sponsors like Consolidated Outlets, Aegis Dynamics, UE Diplomatic Corps, and was it Compass Magazine and Electronic Access. This year's event will be discuss exploring beyond the known frontier and showcase emergent technology, security protocols, and even some helpful social skills when venturing out into the great unknown. Arguably the biggest event of its kind, CitizenCon brings together speakers, exhibitors, and vendors to celebrate the peoples of the UEE. So they're doing it in theme, like they did the trade show last year thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Doors to the event will open up at 12 p.m. UTC, so there's plenty of time for you to experience and explore everything that is planned. The main auditorium will host presentations while numerous booths will focus on exploration and other topics you won't want to miss. Expect to hear more about these details closer to the event. The whole event will be streamed from the Capitol Theater via Twitch, and full itinerary of the day's speakers will be available soon.
So we're going to have to split up so we can make sure we get everything.
Yes.
You record what you're watching, and I'll record what I'm watching.
They eventually need to do something like they do at a lot of other conventions. Is they need to have stream booths where streamers can do streaming from.
It would be cool. They're going to have to get a bigger format to do that, though, because 650
I
people,
understand that, but I mean,
no.
But there's not everybody is a streamer either,
This
right?
is true.
So it's not like everybody who goes to CitizenCon is a streamer, but it would be nice if the streamers who go to CitizenCon would have these little booths, not like they did at Gamescom where you're 3 people up there in front of everybody else doing that, but more of just separate little areas that are set up like what Intel does at their booths or what all these other companies do at their booths to allow for streamers to come in. And, because that, I don't know. I think that would be
TwitchCon,
something.
I hear at TwitchCon they have all
but that's TwitchCon.
I think it is, who is it? Corsair that's doing it this year?
Maybe so.
But it's sponsored. It's not Twitch doing it.
Do you think
that the booths for partners, some of those will be done by Twitch, but for the general floor, there will be some that are sponsored by a vendor. They just announced this. What was it? Yesterday, day before yesterday?
I think so.
But see, that would work for. I think that would work for CitizenCon as well. I think there would be vendors out there. That'd be, oh yeah, we'll, and that the people going to CitizenCon are going to be looking to upgrade their PCs probably. So, and they could make it so that the overlay that you had to use was like Intel,
got their advertising.
Right.
More reasons why it's so important the drones that I sit down and make sure I get my stuff set up so that while I'm out there I can stream properly.
Well, right. I think from what I was talking with Toy earlier, I think it's going to be me, you, and Toy having one of those sessions.
Yeah.
So we'll get it all sorted.
Toy's always trying to horn in on my action. God damn it, Toy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm stealing everything you got.
Stealing my thunder. Stealing the thunder.
Next thing it'll be the Grand Tournament Arena.
Yeah, Grand Tournament Arena of Toy Grubbin.
Oh god.
He'll be conjuring. He's like, I'm going to conjure Disco Lando.
We're doing the ATV summoning.
There it is. It's all happening now.
I'm taking it all, man.
Damn.
It's all real.
Everybody come on over.
Yeah. It's happening.
Old news right there.
I know.
Right.
I'm just going to retire this year. Say it's all over. All right. Will subsumption be used on weather patterns or moving according to air pressure and temp? God, who knows? I don't
think the main subsumption engine was planned for that, but that the tool that they did, the Planed tool, had facilities for setting up different
season cycles too
on the planet, season cycles. I don't think that's part of the subsumption system, but I'm hoping that at least the subsumption system is aware of those patterns. So I'd be less interested in having weather patterns be part of subsumption than I would a character saying, "Oh, it's cold outside, so I'm going to put on a jacket."
That'd be badass
before I go out.
Yeah.
Rather than, the subsumption system decides what the weather will. Nah.
Yeah, I think they're looking at different types of weather systems. I don't know if they've decided that they're going to do them. I think they said that there will be weather in the game eventually.
Yep.
But I don't know how it's going to be reactive. I don't know if it's going to follow like a jet stream and heat cycles on every planet. I have no idea. And if it is, I mean, I'm sure they want to, because they want to do all that kind of crazy shit. But I don't think it's going to be a launch state type thing.
Remember, that is subsumption as well.
The weather patterns will be?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is, though. It has to be.
It's okay to say that it's subsumption. Is it something that is controlled by a process that determines when things should happen? Yes. But that's not the core of the subsumption system that drives the AI driving that. At least it wasn't when they did the PlanEd demo, which is...
Yeah, because PlanEd had a weather system. Now, they could come back and say, we scrapped all that and we're doing it this way now. You never know.
No, I mean, in order to have storms, like... Because they were talking about how the storms that would appear... I mean, they could be scripted to happen.
They could be. We don't know.
Yeah, so I think your basic... Most of the AI that you have, or most of the weather that we have in games is kind of like just follows random patterns, right?
Yeah, it's like what we talked about pathing, right? It was like it had a randomizer where it could rain or it could do this, but typically this is what happened during that and all that stuff.
They showed them drawing the actual pattern for the sandstorm.
Yep.
So you saw that being hand drawn. That was not something that at the time, and like I said, I'm thinking back to PlanEd demo, not present day. At the time, that wasn't being handled by subsumption. That was being handled by an artist saying, I want it moving in this direction, and I want the wind blowing that direction.
But it could change, and we don't know. We'll see what happens. But at this point, I'm going to say probably not yet. Probably not. All right.
No, they have to get that in, so.
Yep.
Well, they still don't.
It's not that big a priority yet either.
I mean, they're still having trouble getting the actual orbits and stuff to work in Solhead, so they still got a ways to go, so.
Although I bet they've probably mitigated some of that by now. That was probably one of the main blockers. So. Because if you spawn backwards in your bed or threw people off the, I mean, I think that's kind of a blocker there. It's like, I can't get on my bed because I'm backwards. I'm good. Every time I get up, I walk into the wall. What patch do you think we will see enemy FPS AI on worlds for the PU? What info is there for who AI handled as open world environments?
3.0.
No, I think that the AI, the ambulatory AI, there will be a little bit in 3.0. I like Toy said, but I think they are expecting the more active.
But FPS AI?
Yeah, that's going to be 3.1, right?
No, because they're doing that now. When you get like a mission to go get a crate from one of those remote outposts or whatever, they're gonna have. They said they're gonna have some AI in some of them.
I think they're supposed to have
not all of them, but there's a chance that you.
Yeah, but
have.
I don't know that. I think I remember them saying something like it's the AI that is going to be at these locations is going to be very limited. That other than at Levski, Port Olisar, and Grim Hex, the AI in the outposts or wrecks is going to be extraordinarily limited, if at all, right? Because they're still working on that just because of the way that they're more dynamic than these more set, places like Olisar.
I think they're gonna have a couple FPS AI though. I think this will be the first introduction of any FPS AI that we see in the game. In 3.0, and I think they just talked about the chance at some derelict wrecks you could find some AI there like that, but I'm not 100% sure, and we'll have to see a more updated report whether that's something that stays in, that's out, or what, because they haven't talked about it in the before they got rid of most of the schedule when they started doing the burn down. They hadn't talked about the FPS AI in any of the report updates from going through the diff checker. I haven't seen it once.
Right.
Now, I know originally they were planning on having it in there. I don't know. Maybe it's still there. Maybe it's not. But that'd be something good to find out. I'd be interested in that. Because I think you need that chance of danger to go up to a derelict wreck or it's not nearly as exciting, right? You like go to like, there's not any AI there. Don't worry about it. Just run up on it. You know what I mean? But if there's a chance of 1 or 2 soldiers would spawn, or sand people, or something else, or somebody friendly, then you got to make the choice where to shoot or not shoot, and do all that. I think it'd be cool. Spaceship Training Wheel says, do you think we'll be able to place bets on planet-side racing in 3.0?
No.
I will say absolutely, but not in game. You can do it. Well, yeah. You'll probably be able to do it in my channel. But
I was about to say.
Yeah, but you won't be able to do it.
Roblox, here we go.
Yeah. That was in that email also, wasn't it? They had a picture of a scoreboard that'll be going in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Eventually.
That, and I know that the scoreboard may have more to do with those little racetracks that they said that they're putting into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, they said that they put down at some of the outposts, we're going to get some abandoned racetracks that you may be able to, like, it may work where the scoreboard may actually work. I don't think they'll be betting, but it may work to where if you get on your Nox and you pull up to the start, right, then it'll enter you into the race.
That'd be
right?
cool.
All you have to do is pull up to the start line. It'll enter you into the race, and then you guys go around the track. Mm-hmm. And every time you pass the finish line, you'll get a point knocked off if you go off the track or something like that, right? Yep. So they're laying out these tracks. We know that. We know that these are tracks. These are little race tracks that the AI or the NPCs at that location used to use for fun or relaxation.
Yep.
And so I know that they have said that. Now, how functional they'll be, we don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's a far stretch for them to put some kind of control panel for you to go up to and say, okay, I want to enter, here's...
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the entering into the race and, racing and then winning will work. I don't know about betting, though.
Yeah, but
I think betting will be in 3.0.
Not with 3.0, but
I would say betting also, if and when they ever allow that in there, be you betting versus the AI. They won't let you bet against each other, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you could do it like a custom race or whatever, and then whoever sets it up or whatever can set the amount that everybody cost everybody to enter the race.
They're trying to put too many controls on currency right now in the game. Chris is just death on like taxes, not allowing big trades between players, all this other stuff. Yeah. I think until they come out with an updated economic document, that was the last word on it. He said you wouldn't be able, like, I couldn't give Toy $5,000 without paying taxes on it because you can't do that in real life. It's like, or after a certain amount, like $100,000.
Remember that they also have to deal with the laws of countries that say that online gambling.
Yes.
And if you can buy UEC with real cash,
which you can.
It's currency.
Which you can, then it becomes currency.
And that's why they can't do gambling.
And if you can trade any amount of cash without any kind of penalty in game, gold farming becomes a real thing, and they want that to not happen.
Well, and in EVE Online, you could do the same thing. You could buy currency for a card, same thing, and cash it in, sell it in there, and turn it into ISK for their currency and that. And they did not have any gambling in there. They originally talked about they wanted to have, like, you could sit down at a table and play card games when they were talking about the Incarna versions where they wanted to have you walk around stations in EVE Online. That never came to fruition. But they couldn't do gambling. So because they had a released API, a lot of websites created EVE gambling outside of the game for ISK. So you could actually trade.
Big business.
They're huge. That's what actually brought down Goonswarm. So there was a website where they were to do all the trades and the marketing, and people spent so much money and so much ISK in it that it funded an entire war to basically oust the goons out of all the space in game. It was actually hilarious that happened that way.
Good times.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's why I like open APIs, because it allows people to create tools to do things that companies are not allowed to do in game, because it would ban the game that way. All right.
Summer blink. Yep.
Oh yeah, baby.
Blinking.
Blink.
I was a blinker.
I got some ships out of that shit, boy.
That funded 2 caps for me.
Yeah. I think that's how I got my 3rd dread.
Yeah.
So, yep. This question's for everyone. What's your go-to ship and why? So real quick around the room. We'll start with Uber Nerd. What's your go-to ship and why?
Which Uber
Nerd? For a 3.0?
He just says go-to ship and why. He didn't say necessarily 3.0.
Gosh, I don't necessarily have a go-to ship at the moment. It's just there's such a wide variety, and there's so many that I haven't tried yet. I mean, I want to see. I may be, really partial to mining, so the Prospector might be my go-to ship, or I might, like to go out on these, reconnaissance missions. So it might be the Terrapin. I don't know yet. It's really kind of, or the Reclaimer with its glorious beauty and crushing nom capabilities might be my go-to ship. But then again, it depends. How hard is it going to be to staff these ships? How often are the people that I want to play with going to be online? Right? As a streamer, it does make it a little bit easier, just because I have those people sitting in my chat ready and willing to go. But
makes it easier and harder.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say.
Okay, Toy.
I think my Freelancer Dur is definitely going to be my first ship. It's my go-to ship.
Okay.
Because it's, small, so it's going to be easier to fill up on gas, easier to, pay for repairs, but it's a little tanky. It's got cargo, which will be good for cargo runs, and not just a little cargo. Those things have actually lots of room. And then if I need to, I got room for a Nox. So
there you go.
Or a one of the other ones. So.
All right, Uber Nerd. Go to ship
said
and
that.
why? Oh. I was looking at drones and I literally read the name underneath this picture. Dr. Drones. I did.
I knew that was going to happen.
It was.
It looks just like me.
It does. Identical, like twins.
Doctor.
Yeah, right?
So Cutlass Red, yeah.
Cutlass Red, okay. For me, Polaris. Because it's awesome. And I want to blow big shit up with big torpedoes.
I'm representing.
I know, I saw that. Good choice of shirt. Good choice of shirt. I own two of those. I bought two.
Nice. I wish I had bought two. I only bought.
Well, they ran out of my size. They're still selling them if you are the size of a small ferry. Like a little pixie going around.
Not.
You could fly around. I think extra small. I think my daughter could wear it extra small. Maybe. But they're all out of size 3X for me, so there you go. Spaceship training wheels. No, he already did that one. Which one was it? How about Evil Idea says, do you think with group warping that groups will be pulled out together? I know what you're talking about. You're talking about jumping together as a squad from one area to another. Because they have that you can queue it up and squad warp inside of EVE Online and some of the other space games. At this point, they haven't talked about formation flying really as a mechanic where I queue in like that. I think maybe in Squadron 42 you'll be able to do that because you have AI control with your wingmen, just like in the previous Wing Commanders. But as far as this, I think you're going to have to designate a point and everybody's going to have to go 3, 2, 1, hit it, and you'll jump. And I think it's going to be a lot more like Star Wars. Boom, 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 stuff jumping in and out. Then it's going to be like one big group going that. It's going to take your player skill. It's always common theme with Star Citizen. Your player skill to time and initiate. Everybody, align to target. This is what we used to do in EVE. Align to target. And if everybody wasn't at their optimal jump speed, I could fleet warp everyone. But in this case, I think it'd be aligned to target. All right, we're jumping in 3, 2, 1, hit it. And then you go together, and then you could probably simulate coming out. Or you'll all mangle and die in space.
Didn't align in EVE.
Yep.
You can always spot him.
Yep. It's like, oh, he's not aligned, and then they always primary that guy and pop him because everybody else jumps and he sits there.
Oh, we usually would just abandon him.
No, we were usually attacking, so we'd see the super that wasn't aligned, and then we're like, tackle, tackle. It's like everybody else jump, bubble, start bumping them. Oh yeah, baby. With the new mission subsumption system, will players complete, or I imagine that means compete with NPCs for jobs and how player character populated systems. For example, if I need a rescue ship, well, I have the option to pick who I want to rescue me, player or NPC, and do you think this will affect the economy? I think there's a lot of yeses to that and some no's. If you're in a situation, you could put out a beacon saying, hey, I need help to anybody, or I think you'll have to directly contact that player to be able to select them. I don't think you could select on a checkbox like only send this to physical real players, because I don't think they're going to do that. It's either wide or you have to call your bro. And so just like when you get to find a good tow truck driver in your city, you keep their card on hand, and then you contact that guy when you need him again.
Keep in mind, your bro may not be in the same system.
This is true. Yep. So like, if I'm like blown up and I need medical and all that stuff, I'm going to call drones, right? Because I know him, and if he's in proximity, he'll do it, or he'll know a guy that can come get me, right? If I go wide because drones is not online, nobody's around, I take the chance, you know, because you could get a pirate. You could get anything. You don't know what you get. So, and that. One more question. This is the last one. Last question. Do you think interdiction will strictly be targeting a ship, a single ship, or will CIG add a ship capable of creating a quantum disrupting bubble like EVE Online? I think that I hope they do both options. I hope they have the smaller ships with modules that you could directly point something, and then you can play that game of I'm going to try to drive my big ship away, and you're going to try to maintain a point on me, and you'll have your turrets and your gunners try to shoot them off you. And then I think they're going to develop either a large interdiction ship, like what Uber Nerd said before, like in Star Wars, that would create a field, or maybe a chain of ships like we discussed before, where it creates a net. And if something passes through it, it pulls whatever out. I don't think you'll ever be able to target an individual ship while in quantum and look at a list and say, drop him out. I don't want that to happen, because I think it's too selective, and it would negate the entire purpose of escorts. If we have our org escorting like a, an Endeavor or a Hull E, and we're all flying from A to B, and you could just choose which ship to drop out of warp, we'd all just go on, and all of a sudden the Holy comes out of warp, and then he's dead. So I think it's got to be a net system or a direct line of sight type tackle. One of those two. Nothing else.
Right.
That's just the way.
Yeah, I think they went over that though, didn't they? Where they said it's more or less a net system.
It's a net system, but they
come out at a random spot
within a given area.
Within
and then you'd have to try to reinitiate and get back out of there, in order to do it. But
but the person generating the field would also then in turn have to try to get to you.
Yes,
it's not as simple as hey, you're out, and by the way, 10 feet away from your hull is another guy. No, it's somewhere within this huge radius.
It just shuts off the drive, but where they actually come out around that visual area is randomized.
Right.
But it'll still be on grid, is what we used to say in EVE. It'll be on grid where you can visually see it. It won't just be like, hey, they fell out of space somewhere. But guys, with that is our final question of the night. So let's do one more thing and make sure that everybody, I think the command's still right from last week. I don't remember.
Should be.
Okay. I think all you have to do is make sure that we're going to enter this raffle if you haven't already, please. This raffle is ! SpaceBros for a piece of hanger flare. You do have to be following every streamer here. So please make sure. Don't recognize the names underneath the faces. That's fine. They did some personality swaps today.
Yep.
But just make sure you have Uber Nerd, Toy Grubbin, and Dr. Drones all locked and followed as they try to impersonate each other for a minute. And why don't you guys tell us what your weekend plans are for your streams? We'll start with Dr. Drones, the real Dr. Drones. There we go. That's labeled Uber Nerd. Yeah.
Or the one...
No. We'll go with you. That's labeled Uber Nerd, but actually Dr. Drones.
Oh, okay.
If you're watching a show for the first time, I apologize. You're probably confused as crap, but that's okay.
That's okay. So are we. So it works out. No, my plans are tomorrow. probably around 6 p.m. Eastern, Star Citizen stuff. Maybe some IRL in the day. I'm gonna mess around with the IRL rig a little more tonight. I still haven't gotten it where I want it. Should you get a new cable for it? Some, just trying to sort some things out, little minor stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe an early stream. Maybe just Star Citizen.
Okay. Toy, how about you?
We'll be. I know it's kind of a shocker, but I'll be playing Conan.
What?
No.
Holy crap!
What is this of man that you speak of?
Is this first time playthrough?
Well, if you know what a dong is, you'll understand it well.
Yep, I gotta play the Conan every day.
It's all right.
I know the dongs.
I have like a cult following on Conan now. So
they're the cousins of the woos.
Yeah, I've heard it.
You know how somebody else has the small gentleman? We have the dong sliders. So
yeah. The dynamic dongs already.
That's right.
Uber Nerd, how about you, buddy? What you got going on this weekend?
Tomorrow, we will be doing another stream, a stream of great importance, one that matters not at all and yet completely. It will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And there may or may not be a raffle. It all depends on whether or not my viewers are feeling relatively frisky and donate to get me up to that point. And if they do, well, there it goes.
There you go.
That's right.
Nice. Well, I know on my channel we'll be doing some back-end work, but we will come back on the air. We're going to be work because I need to experiment with a couple other tools here. We might even do a small IRL stream tomorrow, just so I can play with the tablet.
Ooh.
But we're definitely going to be playing some PUBG tomorrow. And obviously always play some Star Citizen every single day of the week. So we're going to play some of that and check that out. And we very well may have another special giveaway that we're not going to tell you what it is yet. But tomorrow, tune in and find out more. Find out more! All right. Let's see. You need to start taking notes, Toy.
I do. Look, I got papers and notes right here.
You're not doing a very good job. You need to copy a little bit more.
Those are rolling papers.
Yeah. Rolling papers.
You're lucky you know how to write at all.
I know. The caveman stuff. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and seal this thing down for you real quick. Looks like we had 59 viewers entered. Man, that's half the chat didn't enter. Wow. Wow.
They must not be interested in that free shit.
Yeah, Well, it's just hanging.
A lot of these people are subscribers to Star Citizen, so they probably already have the flare. They're like, I have that already.
Well, it is meltable for $5 because we only buy.
Well, there you go.
Stuff, so.
See, guys.
I only do stuff that you can melt if you really wanted to. Sometimes it makes me cry when I give away LTI and you melt it, but hey, that's okay. It happens. And we're not going to do any special keyword or anything like that. We're just going to draw this thing down. Again, you do have to be a follower, so we will wait for congratulations until everybody checks. But we're going to do this thing. So get ready. Get set. And it looks like it's Aurora MR. And I know he is one of my subscribers, so make sure you have Aurora. That's AURORA-MR.
Aurora MR, you are so wonderful. You subscribe, or not subscribe, but followed me on my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, nice.
Wow.
What about Toy? Did you check?
I haven't checked. I was waiting for Trace to check for me.
Trace
He's going through the list now. He is. He's awesome.
Yep.
I'm going to steal him, too.
You are not stealing my Thrace.
Wow.
1 hour, 32 minutes. He's in.
There you go. There you go.
Would you believe since December 23rd for me?
Wow.
He's been around for a while.
You rock, dude.
Awesome, brother. All right, guys. Well, we are going to go find somebody. We're going to do a raid. Do a beautiful SpaceBro raid. And do that thing. So let's see who we're going to go hit up here real quick. I think We are going to go attack. Most likely, probably the Astropub, I think, here, guys. Go give Mr. Astropub some love. He's got a space helmet on. He looks spacey, so we need to do that thing.
Yep. And remember to throw lots of bacon at him.
Throw bacon and throw amazing bro fists.
And grenades.
And grenades.
Boy shields.
And shields. So cover your ass with the shields and throw bacon and grenades, and they won't know which ones to run from and which ones to eat. It's going to be a mess. So.
Bacon wrapped grenades.
Oh, I might not be able to resist that one.
Right. Oh, bacon! Boom!
So here's where we go. Give us some SpaceBro love either way you go, guys. And we will see you tomorrow on all our different channels. Make sure you tune in. And don't forget, exclamation mark Cutlass, exclamation mark monthly, getting those giveaways. And we'll see you guys later. Have a great night. Peace out, bros. Boop, 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 boop.